geographically is inefficient. It's a waste of time. All right? So let's talk about, again, these two areas of our body. They work at their most flexible, which this needs to work at, or their most open, which this needs to work at, when they're not thought about. So how do we not think about it? The human brain is a very interesting thing. And these are all psychological, physiological facts about the psychology of the brain. Number one is, you can only think of one thing at any given time, any given moment, a moment being that long, and you can't not think of something you tell yourself not to think of. You can only think of one thing at any given moment, and you can't not think of something you tell yourself not to think of. I'll prove it to you. Close your eyes. Everybody close your eyes and follow my instructions explicitly. Do whatever I tell you to do. Okay? Whatever you do, do not think of the number 3. Boop! Open your eyes. You all saw 3 for one split second. And if you were ever a drummer, you thought, no, everything's in 4. What are the implications of this for playing? What the hell does this have to do with playing the tuba or playing a brass instrument? It has to do with the fact that if you are required to do something and think of a thing to be able to execute that properly, or you can't not think of something like I just talked about, to be able to get it to work the way it works the most efficiently, then you have to be providing yourself with that affirmation only, and not instructions about open your throat. Another one, open your throat. Who's been told to open your throat before? Everybody in the room, guess what? It's its most open and it's most relaxed when it's not thought about. The notion that you can open up your throat any larger than it is in a state of relaxation is a false one. People that think you can do that haven't taken a physiology course. All right? It's impossible. You can't. You can create a sense of awareness that your throat is more open. Like something out of a Jackie Chan movie. But you know what? It's not more open. What you're doing is at the back of your throat, you're creating a sense of awareness, a feeling that maybe this is more open. And you're actually just changing the shape of your throat. It's actually much smaller. Your throat's the most open when it's not thought about. Well, but so the bad news is you're thinking, wait a minute, I've got so much stuff going on in my mind. How can I ever only think of one thing? Let's talk about that for a second. Everybody close your eyes. Everybody close your eyes. Okay, now open your eyes. How many of you thought of like 150,000 things while you had your eyes shut? How loud is that conversation in your mind? Unbelievable. You all took a perfect breath for playing the tuba when I had you doing this. Oh. What were we thinking of? One thing. Oh, that's it. That's all we were thinking of. Now, we have to be able to get this and this to do the right thing. Well, the great news is that all you have to do is think of, oh, that's it. Put your body in that shape and breathe in. And don't think about anything else. The second thing we want to do for practicing that, in terms of taking a good breath for playing, remember we're still on the simple part of playing a brass instrument. The second thing you want to do is, because we can do 2 things at once. We can think of one thing and we can feel one thing at once. So we want to create a sense of awareness somewhere, not here and not here. Which this goes against almost everybody's teaching, except for Mr. Jacobs. What do you mean? This is the area where we breathe. We have to think about this. And I'll prove it to you in a second that you don't. So what am I going to do? Where am I going to create a sense of awareness? I want to create a sense of awareness that allows me to prove whether or not I'm in the right shape. All right? Because we could have this kind of a shape, like someone from France. Or we could have this kind of a shape, oh, like someone from Japan. And every time I go to Japan to teach, and I ask a room full of students to say, oh, they all go, oh! Without fail. That's not the shape I'm looking for. Clearly, all right? It's this one. Oh, what? I don't know where that's from. That's Minnesotan. That's where I grew up. Oh, for Christ's sake, there, you know. So, you've been there. That's where I grew up. So I used to talk like that. That's the shape. Well, we can feel one thing. So we're going to create a sense of awareness somewhere else other than here and here. We're going to create it right at the front of our face. And when we breathe in, like that, if the sound is that one, we're in the right shape. All right? If the sound is anything else, something's wrong. If this is the sound, your lips are too close together. If this is the sound, teeth are too close together. If this is the sound, need a cigarette, all right? This is the deal. So, the resistance is at the front of the face here. And if the sound is that one, when I'm breathing in, it's an indication to me that I'm in the right shape. So the shape is O. The resultant sound is that one. Everybody try that. Very good. Very good. Now, one more exercise. One more exercise. People are walking in the door going, I thought this was a music store, not a drug clinic. So now what we're going to do is we're going to breathe in for 3 counts and out for 3 counts. On the way in, and then out. And just drop your hand out of the way when you're breathing in. And we're just, that's the instruction I'm going to give you for right now. Okay, so here we go. 1, 2, 3. Everybody in. Out. Again. Out. Good. Here's the sound that I'm hearing. Listen, listen. This is what I'm hearing. And I bet you most of you breathe like that behind your horn, which is really uneven. All right, a lot of work, really uneven. Listen to mine. What's different?
Even. Steady.
Mine's even. The sound is even. It's the same sound on beat 1 as it is on beat 3, which is an indication of what? That I'm breathing in evenly, which means what? When I'm playing and I have this amount of time to breathe, that my breath is even. All right? So breathing in for playing a brass instrument is a skill, just like anything else. Double tongue, triple tongue, playing high, playing low, playing soft, playing loud. It's just another skill. It's out of the range of normal. How we breathe as a brass instrument, as a brass player, is different than normal breathing. It's different than normal breathing. And here's how it's different. It's different in terms of capacity. 0% to 100% of our lung capacity. The first 10% is what's called static air. That's the air that's required to stay in your lungs at all times to keep them in the right shape. If that air goes away, it's called a collapsed lung. Call 911. If you're a drummer, show them where the 11 is on the dial. Between 10 and 20 to 25% of our lung capacity, in other words, 10 or 15% of our total capacity, but in the range of 10 to 25%, is the air that we use for normal everyday breathing. Activities like taking a shower, playing Super Nintendo, setting up your computer, eating pizza, listening to this clinic. All right, that's normal breathing. That's normal breathing. If you're a world-class athlete headed to the Olympics, someone that's really physically fit, extremely physically fit, you're going to use between 20 and 25% of your lung capacity, up to about 65 to 70% of your lung capacity. So a much deeper usage than normal, but not the kind of range of motion we're looking for when we play the instrument. And notice where they start. They start at where we are for breathing normally. That's where athletes start. The same is true for a brass player. We start at 20 to 25%, hopefully, and we breathe full comfortably. So depending on how stretched out we are in these muscles here, in the feeling here, determines the capacity at which we can breathe fully to comfortably. So if my mother were here, who's never played a brass instrument in her life, who's 58 years old, and I were to ask her to breathe in until she was comfortable, she'd breathe into about 50% because she's not, her muscles here are not stretched out. All right? I can breathe into about 92, 95% of my lung capacity comfortable because I'm stretched out. Simple as that. I'm used to breathing that full. That's normal for me when I'm playing my instrument, and it's because I've worked on it as